Backed up. Let's move into Sunday. It's the Sydney Roosters taking on the Bulldogs. It's not coming from Allianz. It's not coming from the SFS. We're going to Central Coast Stadium for this absolute, I guess, cracking bottom half of the ladder battle between the Roosters and the Bulldogs. You got James Tedesco, Corey Allen, Joseph Suaalii, Billy Smith, not Jackson Polo. We've got Junior Pargo. We've got Joseph Manu, Luke Keary, Jared Areo-Hargraves, Jake Turpin, Lindsay Collins, Egan and Nat Butcher, and Satili in the 13 for the suspended Victor Radley. You got Drew Hutchinson, Nathan Brown, Angus Crichton, and Matthew Lodge on the bench. The man that I think comes into that number 5 position, Daniel Tupu, on his return holding a number 18 jersey, with Sandon Smith, Jackson Paulo, Terrell May, and Nafua White in the extended bench. So I guess for me, I was excited to see Pargo's name there. I looked at it and I went, oh, James Tedesco, Corey Allen, Joseph Suaalii, Billy Smith. I saw Junior Pargo, who's been absolutely tearing apart in reserve grade. He's been playing brilliant. I was excited. I read down, I saw Daniel Tupu in 18, and I said, he's probably not going to play if Tupu gets through captain's run and he's fit to go. So I expect that could potentially be the only change. If Tupu's not fit, maybe Jackson Paulo comes back into this lineup. But I think looking at the Roosters, 1 through 17, you'll be lucky to see more than one change. So, again, no Sam Walker. He's still 2 to 3 weeks away. Brandon Smith's out for at least 6 weeks. Tupu's there. We're welcoming back Hargraves. What do you make of this squad? Do you think it's a team that without Victor Radley, there's less silly penalties? Or do you think it's a team that without Victor Radley, without Sam Walker still, without Daniel Tupu, if he doesn't play, they're going to struggle?
Well, according to my report, Sam Walker's right to play this week because in the same thing I got Sam Walker with a knee injury, round 14 expected to come back. I've also got Joseph Manu with an ankle injury expected to come back round 14.
You reading Clark's column?
I'm reading his injury update.
How long ago was that posted? 2 days ago?
One day ago. So
today,
it's still fresh.
It came out today that Walker's out for another 2 to 3 weeks.
Well, you know what? I agree with most pundits here. Sam Walker's not your problem. Whilst, yes, they look good on paper, this Sydney Roosters side, you are playing too much structure football where it almost looks like to go outside the boundaries of structure football. It's like we don't want to cop the hiding from Trent Robbo. I think it's just a little bit too much of like Sam Walker brings that sort of in and out of the box in and out of the structure routine, and you could play him as a 6 to be more reactive and just sort of, okay, you don't have to be the man that create things, but okay, you watch and react and wait until you think that there's a point of opportunity in the defense line where you can overcall Luke Keary and go down your side. It doesn't have to happen 10 times out of 10, but I think Joseph Manu is better and more lethal at centre than he is at 6. Personal opinion. I heard that Michael Maguire even said when he was named at 6 the first week, Michael Maguire said he's not a 6 player. You know, that is coming from the Kiwis coach. So make that as you will. But is it me, or is it just the Roosters have never been having, like, in my whole years of being alive, the Roosters have been a team where if there's like a little bit of a media stir up, that the Roosters squash it really quickly because they know how easily it can affect their football team. You Jason Riles, it's been going on for a couple of weeks here. Yes, that's off field, but he's around the coaching staff and whatnot.
But would you say the Roosters haven't squashed that? They've come out and said, Riles, you can leave, get the job, go. Like they squashed it. They said it's done. It's happening.
That's like 4 weeks later after them going.
Nick Politis came out the first day. Nick Politis came out the first day and said if he wants to have that contract talk, he's gone. He can go at the end of the year.
Originally it was he's not going anywhere. He's seeing out his contract. Then
it was compensation. It was compensation.
Then it turned to, okay, if you want to leave, there's got to be a figure compensation for the end of the contract. Now from reports, it's okay. You can leave, no compensation.
Well, I think it's him leaving is, and this is what I've heard from inside the club, is it went from compensation to if we let you go when you sign the contract or at the end of the year, we don't pay you out. You go, we get nothing, we don't pay you out. And that's why the Roosters wanted that compensation, because if they were to get rid of Riles, they would have had to pay him out. So I don't have an issue with it. Jason's got to go out there.
No, I don't have an issue with it. I just think in previous years, when something like this has sort of come up, it's really over and done with within 5 days.
Like, it's the same thing with Craig Fitzgibbon. It went on for 6 weeks with the Sharks.
But that's Craig Fitzgibbon.
It's the same thing. It's an assistant coach.
It didn't go on that for that long.
Not getting rid of him, but there was rumors for 6 weeks that he was going to sign. He was going to sign. The Roosters said nothing. He signed. Oh, we're very disappointed.
But that's a media thing going, oh, he's going to sign. But really, in past years and whatnot, when there's been something going on within the Roosters, it's either Nick Politis or whoever your head coach at the time, mostly Trent Robinson, you squish it straight away. And as I said, it usually gets fired for 5 days, and then that's it. And then everybody just goes, okay, there's no story here. Usually, you as a club are really good at squashing things when there's no because you know how much it will affect your football, and I think that's what has happened here to a degree. It's affected your football a little bit with the Sam Walker thing, a bit of this and a bit of that. You know, you're not having.
I'll counter that quickly, and it kind of leads into your fear. I think the Roosters have found a way, and hear me out here for a second. I think the Roosters have found a way to go. We found our scapegoat. He wants out. He's our defensive coach. He hasn't been the best. Let's get this into the media attention. Let's get attention away from Brandon Smith, away from Sam Walker. Because if you think about it, since this Riles stuff come up, the Sam Walker stuff's gone quiet. He came out once and said, I'm staying at the Roosters. And that Sam Walker to Brisbane, Sam Walker to the Dolphins, it's gone completely quiet. So would you say that we've kind of found a scapegoat?
I think using him as a scapegoat to an extent, much so, but I just don't understand why. I'm talking from Jason Riles' point here. Why he couldn't just go, Nick, Trent, an offer has come from the Dragon. Oh, first of all, Dragons have asked me to sit down in an informal way to have a chat. A couple of days later, or whatever it is, boys, I've got a contract being offered to me. I want to break it at the end of the year, but I am pledging my loyalty to you guys to the end of the season. It's not going to get in the way of the Roosters coaching, whatever you want to lingo you want to. I can't off the top of my head, but it's not going to affect me here at the Roosters. I'm just. Is that okay? Whatever. He signs it. Yeah, he's going to be the coach in 2024 for the Dragons, but he is all tunnel vision for the Roosters for the end of the year. I just don't understand why that couldn't have happened.
I think we will wrap this up soon. We'll move into the Bulldogs, but I think from a Roosters perspective, there was a lot of talk around a handshake deal was broken. Now, yes, okay, you can say a contract, say handshake and deal, but we haven't seen the Roosters ever retaliate to a player or a coach leave. So what I think, and this is just my personal opinion, I reckon it was a handshake agreement that Jason Riles, you stay at the club until Trent Robinson leaves, you're the head coach. And they were starting to build him into that head coach. And I think that's probably why this is blown out of proportion and Nick Politis has gone, see you later, get out the door.
How many really, this is a question for you, I'm going to counter that. How many more years you reckon Trent Robinson's got in him? How many more years you reckon?
I don't know off the top of my head what his contract is, but I reckon he's still got this year and another 2 years still to go. Like, you can't judge what's going on at the Roosters.
No, I'm just saying, if you had to put it, like, you reckon he's got 10 more years?
What are we now? 2023, 23, 24, 25. I think he's there to the end of the 2025 season at the earliest.
You know what? If I'm Jason Riles, I'll be kicking myself because I would have stayed.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, you're going to go but the thing is, you go to the Dragons, let's be honest, you might get fired in 6 months to get a multi-million-dollar payout. You can go in the punditry for the rest
Oh,
of your life.
really. I know he pulled the trigger too late, and the Melbourne job sort of got taken away from him for another year, and it sort of was lined up for him to just sort of see out his contract at Roosters and then go, Storm, I'm all yours. Like, really, he could have the choice of the best two clubs going around that's looking for a new head coach. Why you take the Dragons job, I don't know. I think he wants more grey hands than he's possibly got, but yeah, it's for another day.
Well, you know what? It is for another day, and
Bulldogs.
apparently, there's another team in this game. We've talked about the Roosters for about 10 minutes, but they are playing the Bulldogs.
Who?
You've got Hayes Perham, Jacob Carras, Jake Averillo, Paul Alamotti, Blake Wilson, Carl Olapu, Matt Burton, Max Kin, Reid Mahoney, Ryan Satin, Big Ockenbaugh off his try-winning game, Jacob Preston, Corey Waddell, Josh Reynolds is back, Curtis Moran, Samuel Hughes, and Harrison Edwards, with the extended bench of Khaled Rajab, Jackson Topine, Josh Addo-Carr, who, let's be honest, he gets through Origin, he comes back into this lineup. Kyle Flanagan, the same thing. Tavita Pangai Jr., not named in the starting lineup, but if he gets through Origin, he will be in this starting lineup, and Jarrell Skelton. So I guess you've got to go off 1 to 17. We know who's in the extended bench. Are you in agreement that Josh Addo-Carr and Tavita, if fully fit, come straight back into this side for this game?
Probably, given that this is a Sunday game, and you hear about the Queensland of old, Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, what they did with Craig Bellamy is don't train me for that week. Just let me rest. I'll just turn up on game day. I'll do my warm up. I'll go and play, and that's how you use me for that following week. So, given that they come out of it all unscathed, I think they do come into this squad as the 21 and 23 man player, and a couple of these players drop out for them.
And I guess, how do you have this game going? I'm a bit concerned that you're going to side with the Roosters 13 plus, and every time you've sided with the Roosters 13 plus this year, I'm pretty sure we haven't got the points, or we've gone quite close to losing. So, how do you see this game going, Baxter?
I actually have the Roosters 1 to 12, so it is a bit of a difference here. So I think, given that how you have attacked over the weeks, previous weeks, you can score points, but it is tight. You concede, if not a little bit less than what you score, or a little bit more than what you score, and it's always been tight. So that's why I'm going 1 to 12.
I'm gonna shock you here. I'm gonna go Roosters 13 plus, and not because I don't think the Bulldogs can defend well, but I think if you look at this Roosters lineup, they've been clunky. Victor Radley's been giving away sin bin, which has cost us points. You've had injuries in Manu. You've had injuries in what's his name? Daniel Tupu. You've had a world where every single time a kick goes up, it's going to Joseph Suaalii, because we don't have any more tall players. So I think Daniel Tupu comes back in. I'm hoping they put Suaalii on one side, Daniel Tupu on the other side, give a threat either side, and we have the ground running. But again, what Jake Turpin offers for the Roosters out of the number 9, it's what we've been lacking. It's speed, it's pace, it's inexperience, in a sense of he hasn't gone and won multiple grand finals, but he gives me those Sam Verrill vibes where he's going to bounce on a dummy half, he's going to throw a pass where, no disrespect to Brendan Smith, he hasn't hit his form yet. I think he will. He's still learning our style of play, but I think at this stage, Jake Turpin is the better player regardless of the injuries. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. I'm going with the Roosters 13 plus. I'm going to be at this game, but let's hope they do turn on and put a spectacle up at the at Central Coast, because let's be honest, I think until last year, we didn't have the best record every single time we played